Good afternoon. My name is Mary Ellen Monroe, and I'm an academic advisor for Youngstown State University. And I'm here today to tell you about our programs that we offer within the Department of Criminal Justice and Forensic Sciences. For those of you who do not know where Youngstown State University is, we are located in Youngstown, Ohio, which is halfway between Cleveland and Pittsburgh. And the video that you just saw showed you what Professor Clutter does in our forensic science crime scene investigation class. Something a little bit unique, YSU's programs are a little bit unique. Some universities have their criminal justice program out of sociology. It's very sociology-based, theory-based. Then you have the community colleges that are very job-based. They teach you skills for the particular job. YSU's program focuses on both the theory and the applied knowledge. So you're going to learn the theory of criminology, the history behind policing and corrections, and then how to apply that knowledge when using it on the job in those areas. Our degrees can be used for career advancement. They can also be used to prepare you for further education in the criminal justice field. Some of the benefits of YSU's program are personalized advising. You will meet with me or the faculty for advisement. It is actually mandated that you meet with us during your first 2 years at YSU. As I mentioned, we have the applied science approach to criminal justice. We have very highly qualified and experienced professors. We have those with their PhDs who have a previous experience in criminal justice and are teaching you the theory. We also are fortunate to have a lot of part-time instructors come in to teach that are currently working in the field. So you may have probation officers, judges, police chiefs, people working for the Bureau of Criminal Investigation teaching your classes. YSU is one of the most affordable colleges and universities in the state of Ohio, and you have opportunity for field experiences here. We offer internships, and we also offer the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy, which can prepare you for state certification in law enforcement. YSU's Department of Criminal Justice and Forensic Sciences has several different degree options, starting with the Associate in Criminal Justice, everything for the associate. If you would choose to start with that, everything for the associate also applies to the Bachelors of Criminal Justice. So many students choose to do the associate and then just continue on. We also have the Bachelors in Forensic Science, which is very science and math oriented. And we also have the Master of Science in Criminal Justice. So you can start at the very beginning in criminal justice and go all the way through your master's degree with us. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Associate in Criminal Justice. I think we passed up that slide. We have 3 emphasis areas in that one, and they are law enforcement, corrections, and loss prevention, asset protection. The law enforcement track can prepare you for jobs, entry-level jobs in the police force, maybe a corrections officer, and in public and private security and theft and fraud prevention. The Bachelor's program has actually 5 different tracks. Once again, there's law enforcement, and those would be students interested in being a police, sheriff, working for state and federal agencies like Border Patrol, FBI, the Drug Enforcement Agency. Corrections prepares students for jobs in probation and parole, working in the prisons, and juvenile diversion programs. The legal processes track is for those interested in preparing for law school or working for an attorney. And loss prevention, asset protection, once again, is theft and fraud prevention, public and private security. We also have the generalist track for those who don't have a specific area in mind that they want to concentrate on, or they do have something specific in mind and they want to combine courses from the 4 different areas. For example, there's some students who are interested in being victims advocates, so they're going to combine some of the law courses and some of our courses like criminal victimization and the juvenile justice system. They'll combine all of those to make their generalist track what they want it to be. Now, we also have a Bachelor of Science in Applied Science and Forensic Science. And let me first say that forensic scientists are not necessarily what you see on CSI. CSI pretty much combines 2 or 3 jobs into one to make it super exciting. And they don't necessarily explain the preparation that is needed to be a forensic scientist. Our forensic science program, as I mentioned a little earlier, is very heavy in math and science. So you have to get through calculus 2. You have to take college level physics. You have to do at least 5 chemistry classes and 3 or 4 biology classes. Those are all core courses that every forensic science major must take. We also have a group of criminal justice courses that are required, and an internship is actually mandatory for our forensic science degree. As I mentioned, we had tracks in the criminal justice degree. We also have 3 tracks in the forensics degree: biology, chemistry, and anthropology. So, for any of you who are interested in forensics, I just want to stress that while you're in high school, you should be trying to complete as much math and science as possible. You want to get as high in the math area as you can. Go beyond Algebra 2. Try and get into pre-calc or Calc 1 if your school has it available. You want a full year of high school chemistry, a full year of high school biology, and you want a year of high school physics as well, so that when you get to YSU, you will be prepared for our forensics program. We also offer the Master of Science in Criminal Justice. So if you want to, you get your bachelor's degree, you think you want more education, you can get it. We have 2 options. We have a thesis option, we have a non-thesis option, and we just started recently an online Masters of Criminal Justice using the thesis option. So you can actually come to YSU to get your Masters of Science in Criminal Justice, or you can do it all online. Does anyone have questions? Feel free to ask me questions. I often get asked, is an internship required with the criminal justice program? An internship is not required, but it is recommended that you either do the police academy or an internship to get some actual hands-on experience. Now, we have a very good internship coordinator, Diane Ritz, who works with the students, and you get a list of internship sites that we have used before, but it is up to you to actually secure your internship. You have to send out your resume, you have to have an interview with the internship site, and then the internship site has to be willing to work with our coordinator for the internship. Now, you may have an internship site in mind that we have not used before, and Diane has always been very good and very willing to consider alternate internship sites if the internship site is willing to work with her. We often have out-of-state students who have all their requirements complete, and they decide they want to go home and do an internship in their home state for their last semester, and that is possible as well. Some of the different internships that we have available have been working for a probation and parole office, working in the juvenile justice system, working with the local police departments. The forensic science students will work sometimes with the coroner or the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. So there's lots of opportunities if you are willing to prepare and are willing to go out and secure that for yourself. Another question I'm often asked is what is the benefit of getting a bachelor's in criminal justice over getting just an associate degree? Well, let me just give you this example. In our area here in Youngstown, there are some departments that don't require any degree at all to get a job as a police officer, that you just need the police academy, which prepares you for that job of actual police officer. Then there are some who may want an associate degree, and oftentimes if you're taking the civil service test to qualify for a police officer job, you will get extra points awarded on the test for your college credits, and that is one place where the associate's degree is very valuable. Actually, if you take our police officer training academy, it accounts for the whole emphasis area in law enforcement for the associate degree. There is a particular police department in our area that will not even consider you for hire if you don't have a bachelor's degree. So normally the better police departments want you to have more education. And of course, if you want to go on and work for federal or state agencies, you almost always have to have a bachelor's degree. In fact, for jobs like the State Department or the FBI, they usually want 3 years of work experience, and we suggest that students get their master's degree while they're getting their work experience to make themselves more marketable. Probation and parole is another area where they usually want a bachelor's degree. So there are many benefits to having a bachelor's degree over just the associates. Do any of you have questions? I mentioned that for forensics you should get a lot of science and math while you're in high school. I also recommend that even if you're just coming for the associate degree or the bachelor's degree, you don't want to slack off in that senior year. If you have all your high school mandatory requirements done, you should still continue to take a writing course and more advanced math, because you never know when you come to college. I mean, students change their majors all the time. They may think, oh, they don't need all this math or science for the criminal justice degree. But you might get here and find, oh, maybe forensic science is the way I want to go. Or maybe you'll decide, I'd rather go to chemistry. That sounds really interesting after you've taken a couple of chemistry classes in our forensics program. Sometimes we'll have students do both a chemistry degree and a forensic science degree, or a biology degree in a forensic science, or a criminal justice degree in a forensic science. So you can't go wrong with getting more education in your senior year. Don't let that be a year to slack off just because you've worked hard the first 3 years of high school. When you come to YSU, of course, we want you to have fun. Well, first off, I didn't tell you about the services that we provide here. We have a lot of services. We have peer mentors. So when you come in to orientation as a freshman, you are all assigned to a peer mentor who is a fellow student who has been here for a year or two, and they are specifically trained to help incoming students adjust to life on campus this first year. And you can meet with them weekly, and they can give you their guidance, their help. You might have a lot of information or a lot of questions about how to handle certain predicaments or on campus, or maybe you have a question about a particular professor. Have they had them? How have you worked with them? Or maybe they have information for you about the dorms. So there's a lot of different reasons to use the peer mentors. We also have tutoring services. We specifically have a math assistance center and a writing center to help you with those issues. They provide free tutoring for math and English. And then our Center for Student Progress can provide tutoring for other subjects other than math and writing. We also have a disability services center, so if any of you need accommodations like extra time to take the test, or you need a note taker, or you need help in some other way with your classes, disability services can help you with those if you provide the required documentation. We have career services that teach you how to write a resume. They'll do mock interviews. They have job fairs twice a year. They're a very valuable service. And we also are one of the most, and if you guys are all in high school, this probably is not going to apply to you, but we are one of the most veteran-friendly campuses in the country. Also, we want you to have fun when we come here. We are involved with NCAA sports. We have many sports available, both men's and women's: football, baseball, softball, basketball, track, diving, volleyball, golf. So there's lots to see and do. Our mascot is the penguin, if you haven't heard of that. We're the Youngstown Penguins. And our football stadium is affectionately called the Ice Castle, and we would love to have you attend games there, and they are actually free for students to attend. We also have great theater and concerts. We have a great, let's see, they just changed the name of it. College of Communication and Fine. No, anyway, it used to be Fine and Performing Arts, but they just changed the name. And we have excellent music and theater programs. And then we have many student organizations, many, dozens and dozens. And if you don't find a student organization that you like, if you get enough students interested, you can create your own student organization. So there's plenty to do. We also have Greek life. We have sororities and fraternities and service organizations, all of which we would encourage you to get involved in, because we find that the more students are involved in activities on campus, the more they get out of their college experience here at YSU. Is there anything else that I can tell you? Any questions? No? Well, we hope to see you here at YSU in the future. If you have more questions about the Department of Criminal Justice and Forensic Sciences, please feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Greetings and welcome to this session of the Youngstown State University, Ohio Peace Officers Training Academy overview. Welcome back, and I hope you enjoyed that little video. My name is Ed Fallone, and I'm the commander of the Police Academy at Youngstown State University. I first want to talk a little bit about myself and why my background is important coming into the college. I started out in law enforcement at a young age prior to the change in the law when you could be 19 years old instead of 21. I was a member of the Ohio National Guard and was able to use that to attend college here at Youngstown State University. At the time, back in the late 70s, unfortunately, there wasn't a lot of emphasis put on college. And that kind of stymied my career as well as advancement and promotion. I was able to move through my department through promotional exams through civil service, but to go outside of my department and possibly move into a state or federal agency was much more difficult. So the college experience is much more important today than it ever was, especially for those breaking into the field. While at the university here, returning upon my retirement from the city, I spent 26 years with the city of Struthers, which is a city just east of Youngstown. And I returned to YSU and completed my master's degree program and was actually able to get a job here as an academic advisor in a part-time status, working there in the dean's office in the Batante College of Health and Human Services. From there, I was able to move to the Center for Student Progress, which was mentioned in an earlier segment and is a very important part of the academic life here at the university. It is a way for everyone to be able to expand on what they already know and learn new things and keep their academics at a high standard. I was an academic intervention specialist, and I worked with students with test-taking skills, memory and learning, problem solving, and so forth. So that kind of springboarded me into the position that I'm in now when it opened up, kind of back in my field again of criminal justice. A little bit of general information about the Police Academy. If you are a YSU Criminal Justice and Forensic Science student, you have first shot at getting into our academy. And what I mean by that is this is a restricted program. Not everybody gets into the Police Academy. We're looking for the very best students to come into the Police Academy. We want to be the premier police academy in the state of Ohio. We're making strides in that direction as we speak, and our academy keeps getting stronger by every semester. So by coming here and looking at our forensic science and criminal justice program, you will have a leg up on the other students. Also, you need to be 21 years of age. The reason for that in the state of Ohio, you need to be 21 to be commissioned by a police department. And if you come to the academy at, let's say, 20 and graduate from the police academy and you have a year before 21, you only have 1 year to actually acquire a police job and be certified by the state. So you would actually need to return to the academy and have a refresher. So we don't want to set you up for failure, so we make sure that you're either a junior or a senior in the program before we bring you into the police academy. Additionally, GPA is important. Many times you'll talk to police officers that have a lower GPA, and the lower GPA typically comes from your early years in college when you're transitioning from high school. And once again, the Center for Student Progress helps with those transitions, and we're here to provide those services for you. We make sure you transition properly and keep your GPA at a level that will bring you into the police academy and keep you at a higher GPA than other students from other colleges. An acceptable GPA is somewhere above a 2.0. We prefer you to be somewhere above a 3.0 coming into the academy, and we'll also assist you to be there. The academy is lengthy. It's 8 to 5, Monday through Friday, with some weekends and some evenings. So you're spending a good part of your day, possibly 9 hours or more, in the classroom. It's over 605 hours at this particular time for one semester. So it's, like I say, it's very lengthy, it's grueling, but it's very rewarding. You're going to have a lot of camaraderie, you're going to become very close to your classmates, and you're going to develop something that you're not going to develop anywhere else. This is a very personal system. We work well together, we work in groups, and you're trained in that manner. You can't miss class. Ohio's changed its policy on mandatory class time, and the 605 hours is mandatory. You cannot miss any of those hours starting July 1st in 2014. So from that point forward, you would have to make up all hours. Making up hours can become costly, so you want to try and attend all of your classes like you're supposed to. The cost at this particular time per instructor is near $30 an hour. So we do things to maintain your health and well-being, and we're going to talk a little bit about that when we talk about the physical fitness portion of the academy. The state of Ohio has restrictions on a physical fitness requirement for you. And we give you a pre-PT test coming in to make sure you're where you need to be. To assist you, to keep you there or to increase your abilities, we have a recreational center here called the Andrews Rec Center on campus. And we have nutritionalists available, we have personal trainers, and we have a full array of facilities for you to use as a student here at YSU. So you saw little snippets in the video of some of the things that we offer, and it's just much grander than that. So you really almost need to be here to see what we have and take advantage of it. As well as we have the Watts Center. The Watts Center is a state-of-the-art indoor football field, essentially. You saw a little bit of snippet of that. That's there for your use too. And I mentioned the health part of this. We try to keep you physically fit, healthy, and follow your nutrition. Also, at the very least part of all of this, and we don't pretty much get into it with younger people, but they're all just qualifiers that you can't get into the police academy if you would have any type of domestic violence arrest or an assault or theft arrest. So now's the time to start thinking about, keeping your nose clean, doing the things that you're supposed to do, and thinking about your future when things may entice you or take you down the wrong road. Part of our push to become the premier police academy in the state of Ohio recently was the addition of the M16 rifle certification. We are the only police academy in the state that's offering this. The weapons are part of a state and federal program that repurposes military weapons. So the maybe older brothers or sisters that you had possibly that were in the military, maybe that served in Afghanistan or overseas somewhere in the Middle East, these are those weapons being brought back here for repurposing. They're just not destroyed or gotten rid of. They're bringing them back and using law enforcement field. The weapons are very expensive. The M16 rifles range in the vicinity of about $25,000 a piece. They're fully automatic weapons, and you're trained how to use them. If you have any ambitions of joining the military, this is a little bit of a taste of that. Or if you were going to join the military and possibly come to YSU, we have an ROTC program that's wonderful here that could be combined with your academic training. Another thing that we're bringing new to this current semester is what's called laser ammo training. We use actual firearms, in this case the Glock pistols, the M16 rifles, and the Remington shotguns, and they're retrofitted with a laser inside the barreling system, and we're able to use electronic targeting and also projected images from a camera system based in a computer that actually qualifies you with shooting and target acquisition. Very, very progressive program, very new. It's not, the computer program is not even on the market yet. What we have is a prototype out of a company from New York. It's very state-of-the-art and cutting edge, and I'm really looking forward to our instructors putting it into play. As well as one of our instructors is actually an FBI qualified instructor from Quantico, Virginia. We've also expanded our physical fitness and defensive tactics training. at the academy. Our instructors are the best in the area in martial arts, and as well they're certified in the Ohio Peace Officer Training Academy system. We have a new impact weapons system that utilizes any given weapon in hand. And if any of you are familiar with straight handle baton, side handle baton, expandable baton, coup baton, things of that nature, any of you martial artists out there, all of these weapons are now combined and you're being certified to use them right coming out of the academy. No one else is doing that either. So we've brought that to the table also. Our physical fitness training, as I mentioned, that we need to comply with the state qualification, is expanded so that you're getting more physical fitness in our academy than any other academy to make sure that you're capable of passing the final exam. I mentioned earlier about supplemental instruction. We have inserted what's called an embedded supplemental instruction program in our police academy that's run weekly. Here on campus, as was mentioned in my segment and also earlier, the Center for Student Progress has what is called supplemental instruction, where a student goes to class with you, takes notes like you, and then returns and reteaches that information. In our case, the embedded model, the student is a previous cadet that has high marks in our academy, returns to the academy and reteaches lessons to assist you for your midterm and final exams that will be coming up. So this is something else that no other academy is doing that I know of either. We've also inserted a canine segment. The state of Ohio has not yet added canine training to the academy, but we've put it in our academy so that you're familiar with it, and most Ohio State police departments at this point do have canines. So you'll be well acclimated if you do get hired by a local PD. We also have added a watercraft segment. That's something else that we can give you a little bit of information on, so that if you decide to go possibly work for a state park or the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, that you would understand what they do and how to apply for those departments. Most recently, and it's not even installed yet, have purchased a firearms simulator. And the best way I could probably describe this to you would be a very large video game that you're in. You're in a room with a probably 12 by 15 screen that you interact with a video and are able to shoot, acquire targets, disperse crowds, and so forth. State-of-the-art facility, probably in the $75,000 to $100,000 range for equipment, and the room for that is currently being remodeled. Our tactical training room is being remodeled to accommodate this new training system. And one of the probably the neatest things about it that I like is that we're actually able to video our own segments using local people and locations here, even on campus, and insert them into our video training. So that when you come to the academy, you may see professors that you know in the video. You may see a parking deck that you park in the video. This isn't going to be something that from unfamiliar location. You'll actually be training in facilities that you're familiar with, which is totally new and state of the art. So we're very excited about that too. Next, I wanted to brief you a little bit about the physical fitness requirements, and I'm gathering the majority of you, my viewing audience at this point is less than 29 years of age. For those of you that are less than 29, the sit-up section in this that has to be done in 1 minute, you need to do 40 sit-ups, and in 1 minute you would need to do 33 push-ups, and you will need to run 1.5 miles at 11:58, and this is for males. So the males is a little bit more difficult than for the females. The females need to have 33 push-ups, sit-ups, 18 push-ups, and run the 1.5 miles in 14:15. So it's still very rigorous for both males and females, and that's why we spend so much time pushing for that. Now, while I'm talking about this, and as well as the information that I had mentioned earlier, please, if you have any questions, put them into your electronic monitor type them in, ask me what your questions are so I can answer them while my segment is still live with you, so I can get that taken care of. We don't want to have to go backwards. Looking down the list here, males that are 30 years old to 39, the sit-ups don't change a whole lot. It just moves to 36. It's only 4 less than the male that's 29 or younger. The push-up segment's 27, and the mile and a half is only about 27 seconds longer at 12:25. The females is just almost a minute longer in the mile and a half run at 15:14, and 27 sit-ups and 14 push-ups. So you yourself can look at the list, and I doubt if I have anybody here that's viewing that's probably 6 years old, unless it's your teacher. But that was a little joke, little levity for you. But if you do have any questions, please, once again, I would like you to ask them at this time. The next section we're going to look at is a little bit of information about the student handbook, and I'm not going to go through the student handbook verbatim with you. There's many rules and regulations. This is a paramilitary setup. You know, we want to keep this as tightly organized and well-oiled machine as possible. If you're better prepared and you train properly, that's how you'll react out on the street, and that's what we're looking for. So I'm not going to go through each rule and regulation, each of our regulations, but as far as examinations go, we do have a final academic examination that's given by the state of Ohio. It's not even given at our university. We actually leave here and go to a city outside of Cleveland called Richfield, Ohio, and we take our test there. We have a test center there, and we also have a test center in London, Ohio, which is just south of Columbus. Not London, the city in England. We also have the PT examination as well as firearms. We also train in the standardized field sobriety testing. We have NIMS, incident control. There's many other segments that we have small tests throughout the semester. Now, something that's very exciting for us right now is that we're on the cusp of changing the semester hours credited for the police academy, which is currently 12 semester hours, and it is due to increase, if it is passed, to 16. So to us, that's very exciting, because the length of time you spend here, you would think you would be able to get 60 hours for it, but you don't. You just get 12 at this time, and 16 hopefully in the very near future. And if anyone has any questions about that, semester hours, please ask those too. Uniforming and equipment. We only wear academy approved clothing. Our equipment and clothing is all purchased essentially from about the same place, and we give you all of that information. But we wear a polo style shirt with our academy patch on it. It may represent different classes, possibly with your name. There's different levels of polos that you can purchase, as well as pants. And in my case, I wear the 511 model, but it's a style of BDU that many of you may be familiar with the multi-pockets. So that's pretty much the style of clothing. Something else that we do too is we have 2 class commanders for each academy. And these class commanders are very, very integral in the process. They're the liaisons between the instructors and the academy commander and the academy secretary. They bring information back and forth and kind of make things run a lot smoother for the whole academy. And if you're thinking about coming to the academy, you may want to think about maybe applying for one of those positions also. They're coveted, they're not easy to get, so you do want to put a little bit of time and effort in thinking about that. We in the academy also talk about personal hygiene. We're in that classroom for 9 hours a day, and we keep things very clean and neat. So if you're somebody who has a propensity to, for neatness, we hold to those standards. Health and safety is a key issue in the academy. We instruct our students not only in the academy rooms that they're using, but throughout the buildings, that if they see a piece of paper on the floor, pick it up. That's the projection that we have across campus. So we try to do those kind of things too, so that the image of our cadets in uniform is projected in a very professional manner. I don't know if we want to take maybe a few questions before I go into the next segment. One of the questions that's been posed is how many courses do I need to take for the academy? There's many different ways that you can come into the academy. You can come into the police academy from the outside. You don't have to be a criminal justice or forensic science student at Youngstown State University to get into the police academy. While it's rare for those students to come in, there's not very many seats, there are times that they do get in, and we do allow students from the outside, possibly even from another university, to come here. Some of the other universities in the area don't take maybe enough people in their academies, or they're not looked on as highly as ours is, so they do try to come to YSU. So you don't actually have to be here, but we prefer you to be a criminal justice student, and you do have a better shot of getting into the academy if you are a student in our school. So as far as your courses go, you really don't have to have anything up front, but that's all looked at in our interview process. Additionally, we're asked, what does the training entail? And I've covered a lot of that. The training entails quite a bit. The new curriculum itself has been revamped, and it's been increased to over 605 hours. It goes through, I believe, 13 different sections. We have an administrative section, a legal section, a human relations, firearms, driving, a subject control section, first aid and CPR, a patrol section, a civil disorder section, a traffic section, an investigation section, a physical conditioning section, and of course Homeland Security, which everyone's pretty much familiar with these days if you watch anything on the news. Homeland Security and weapons of mass destruction has been increasing exponentially, and you will be trained in those areas if you have any interest there also. So that kind of covers a little bit about what the new curriculum is all about. Additionally, we're asked at times, do you need a degree to get into our program? And no, you don't need a degree to enter into the police academy at YSU. Youngstown State University, of course, encourages you to be on your degree path, as we do at the academy. But it's not actually necessary to have a degree to enter the program. Typically, the students that do have degrees do very well in our program, and a lot of times do become those class commanders that I was mentioning to you. Another question that's been posed to us is, do I need a degree to find a job? Typically, no. You don't need a degree. The academy itself will carry the weight and bring you to local law enforcement. When the degree comes into play is for promotionals. It's always definitely a leg up for that, as well as moving from a local law enforcement agency possibly to a state or federal. State and federal agencies almost always require you to have your degree. And what people don't really realize is your heart may be set right now on being a police officer. What you don't realize that in a number of years, your goals are going to change. You know, you may have a family, you may have children, financial responsibilities increase, and you may want to increase your status, your life status, and move to a higher paying job, or maybe something that's a little bit higher in a social status in the law enforcement field, and move to a state agency, something in Ohio like the Bureau of Criminal Investigation. They have many arms that work for the Attorney General in that area. Some of them have to do with gambling, some have to do with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. There's also liquor control. There's just so many different agencies in Ohio that your job opportunities are immense if you follow a proper career path, and with the guidance of our academic advisors and the people at our university, we'll take you down any path that you would like to go and make sure that you reach your goals. Another question that is being raised is, how long is the police academy? It is 1 semester. It's a little bit longer than the semester itself. The typical semester is about 15 weeks. We may be a little bit outside of that, maybe 16-ish. We may go a little bit beyond finals week, and we don't take breaks like during spring break and spring semester. We don't take a spring break. There's just too many hours that are required for us to maintain in our program, so we have to work through spring break, and there's not too much that we can do about that. If that sounds like something that you'd like to be involved in, of course, we'd like to have you. Is there any other questions that you might want to ask? Don't all do this at once. Slow down. Maybe we could talk a little bit some about the additional items that we would want to use in our classroom for the Police Academy at Youngstown State. We, of course, do things to the fullest. When we work on building searches, as you see, a flashlight is an additional item that's a mandatory item here that we need. We don't do mock building searches. We actually take you out at night. We take you to a building, we take you through the darkness and teach you how to search a building just like you would in real life. The things that you're going to learn, the life skills, the police tactics are all taught by top-notch instructors. Many of them are task force instructors. One of our premier instructors was just recently hired by the Youngstown Police Department for their police chief. That's how talented this man was. So we're putting people out there that are being taught by the best of the best. Our instructors are just that top notch. So we want to have also make sure that you have the equipment that you need. And one of these things, as I say, is the flashlight. Continuing, we certainly don't train indoors all the time. So Northeast Ohio has inclement weather. Most of the time it's sunny and 60, but we do get a little bit of snow here. So during those winter months, we want to make sure that you have the appropriate clothing. Heavy boots, socks, long underwear, things that are waterproof, headgear, things for your hands, gloves, scarves, raincoats, and ponchos. So the weather changes here, and we'll experience those 60-degree days that actually change by 60 degrees that day. It can go from 60 to 0 in the same day, unfortunately, here. So nonetheless, if you're looking for Arctic training, you've come to the right place. We certainly can provide that, and we do real-world training. Moving on, we also talk about accessories for our academic binders. Our binders pretty much will spread out to about 3 large 3-inch 3-ring binders by the end of the Police Academy. A lot of material. What we use are called SPOs, Student Performance Objectives. It's exactly what you need to know for your final exam. It's exactly what you need to know to get out into the field. This academy is progressive enough that you're well trained enough to be placed out in a cruiser day one. You're ready to go. We work with radio equipment. We do patrol training, foot pursuit training. We do interviewing suspects. We do many things that other academies don't do, and that will lead you to a job much sooner and quicker than most would. These binders are graded. Your schoolwork is graded. It's part of your grade. Very rarely do we have anyone that doesn't do very well on this, because this is exciting. This is what you want to do, and that's why you're here. You want this to be the best it can be. You want your notebook to be perfect, and that's what we end up getting. If you're sitting in a high school right now and feeling like you don't want to be an academic, that's not what this is all about. The majority of this is hands-on training, and even when you're in the classroom, we're talking about hands-on training. So you're always learning, you're always talking. We always have, during the day, the opportunity to do workouts in our defensive tactics training room. We have many facilities available to you, and there's always something for you to do. It's just not being an academic. Additionally, we have books and publications that we use, and some of them that you're required to have, such as the Ohio Revised Code, to complete your training. These things are beneficial to you, and you'll carry them on into your law enforcement career, as well as your academic careers, that you'll be able to use that for research and so forth. Additional training is also available through our instructors, should you decide that you want to specialize in something that you may not get in the academy itself. Pretty much everything to this point is going to be inserted in our police academy that you can almost take for certification outside of an academy. We're moving toward that goal, and once again, being the premier police academy in this region, we have all of those things available to you, and if we don't, we're working on it to bring it to you. Does anyone have any questions up to this point? We're just flying in with questions. Well, let me just move on to one more thing, and we'll go back to that. The curriculum itself, once again, is a 605-hour mandatory hour curriculum. That's what the Ohio Police Officers Training Academy says that they want. We add to that. We have the additional physical fitness training. We have the additional defensive tactics training. We have the specialized rifle training. We have many other things. So your training hours are much more than the 605 mandatory. And you wouldn't even notice it, because when you're here, you're going to like every minute of it. It is that intense. It is that much fun. It is something that you will want to do. Our standards and protocols are all very legitimate and very well-rounded. There's nothing here that's the average student is not going to be able to take care of. Nothing about that. We're very big on dates and times, and our class attendance is 100%. Nobody's late for class. People don't do anything outside of the norm that they're supposed to do. It's very controlled and very enjoyable. And if we don't have any additional questions, I'm going to leave it at that. And thank you for attending.